Ladies and gentlemen, I think you should be taking many, many notes here. We've got an expert in the building to help you understand the importance of having a waterproof, solid foundation. We'll be back. Stay tuned. This is going to be fun. Giddy up. Welcome everyone to Your Little Castle Show. Experts in the building. Literally, when it comes down to just the important things that matter with regard to a house, very often the foundation is overlooked. Right? It's just the thing down there in the basement. In Missouri, we have most houses have a basement. You go a little bit further south. I'll never forget. I was in Memphis visiting my buddy who I grew up with, and he moved down there. Memphis doesn't have basements.
Crawl spaces.
Crawl spaces, okay.
Yeah.
And you help with that too, obviously. Give a warm welcome here, Scott, and make sure I say Suthoff.
I nailed it.
Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Now it's S-U-T, but it's the German pronunciation.
H-O-F-F.
H-O-F-F, and put that up there for everybody to see. And Scott has been doing this for 19 years. Watch that first half-hour interview. You can watch it on our YouTube after it's aired if you missed it. I aired on ABC, but literally valuable information there because there are many people that offer the service they offer on our little planet, but very few have the capacity to do it the way you do as a small business who can keep the overhead less cost.
Yeah. If we keep our costs down, we keep our project costs down also for you, the homeowner.
Yeah, that will be something that I think would be important for any homeowner, right?
Yeah.
Let's spend less money rather than more. Now, there's many times you sacrifice when you don't spend more because the quality may go down, but not when your overhead already is lower.
You got that right.
And I'm one to I practice what I preach, everybody. If you haven't figured it out, we built a studio in our own facility because when I was doing the show, it was great. It was sponsored by and paid for by a well-known company that's worked with them for many years. They're awesome. I still know the guys, but I decided to go off on my own for this version of the show. I built a studio where I can get access to it, let's just say 24/7. But that brings the cost down. To rent a studio costs a lot of money. So I'm all about keep that overhead down as long as you can still keep the quality high. And if you can give people the best value, that's what we're all really looking for.
You know, I think you said it best. You want to do a quality job for a fair price. For everybody. Not just one, but for everybody. Quality job for a fair price. And if our society/business mantra anymore would be that way across the country, we'd all be better off.
That is true, and that's why we often do emphasize there are many things I would recommend you do yourself, especially when it comes to marketing and you're first getting started. We can talk about that. But it's best to figure this thing out. Let me say it this way. There's some things you should definitely be doing rather than not. It's better to do it yourself with some levels of marketing. Now, you get into foundation repair. We talked about that in our last show. There's some certain things you might want to dabble with yourself. But when you're getting into like core elements of like a foot of water in your basement,
oh yeah,
don't want to try to fix that one yourself, most likely.
No, and that's where people in my industry / a company I work for, we want to come out and find out what you want to accomplish with your basement / crawl space / property. And based off of that, give you options and let's show you what they cost, what that option costs and what that option does and what the warranty is with that option. And give you an opportunity to pick from the highest all the way down here if you know what's available.
Yeah, because there's a lot of money that can be spent if you don't pay attention to what you're getting.
Yeah.
And that's where it is. How many often do you say, and this is something you recommend to people, it is a good idea very often to get more than one quote.
Yes.
And that's because that first place maybe just, you talked a little about we had a between game discussion. We said our first game was, the first recording was, that's game number 1. We recorded game number 1. Now we're game number 2, show number 2, if you will. And between games, we have a discussion. There's a marketing tactic that I'm familiar with.
Yep.
And you mentioned it. And just talk about what is at stake here, because this is a good discussion, I think, for people to understand. But when you say, hey, if you make that decision right now, we'll take 10% off. Hey, let's understand the numbers here first off, right?
Yeah.
Tell me how that works and why they're using that sales tactic, if you will.
It's basically what they're trying to do is get you to sign right now, right then, so they don't have to mess with anything, any extra phone calls or anything like that. But if you have a job, let's just say it costs $30,000. Your quote's $30,000, and they say I'll take 10% off right now. That's $3,000. Can you put a $3,000 value of just making a decision right then? Why not? Why couldn't you get that $27,000 bid to start with? Just get your price up front. Or if a individual says, you know what, Carter, if you've gotten a bid from somebody else and they're less than what we are, we'll match their price. Well, this other company came in and bid it for $25,000. And they say now they can match that price. Why didn't they give you that price to start with?
Well, because there's a little gamesmanship going on there. I mean, boy, it does end up being. But yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. Well, I thought the price was the price. What are they cutting out? Or are they saying, oh, we were just going to make that much more money off this deal?
Exactly.
If they would have been, I don't know what it's called. Yeah, I'll say it. We become suckers, right? We got sucked into a deal that wasn't best for us because we just wanted to make a quick decision without analyzing what's going on there.
And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing to do. It's just something we wouldn't do.
Just something we wouldn't do. I like it. Up straight, it's like how often now, and it's boy, you get into the automotive world, but the price on the car is the price.
Yes.
And there's places that argue that versus you go to one other dealer, hey, what's our bottom line? I don't know, man, because I ended up at Circuit City. I'll never forget, and I was selling computers while I was going to grad school, and I just figured out, boy, everything is negotiable. Mm-hmm. And they came in for that TV that was in the ad that they saw during the baseball games. So this is like some big promotion, $199, and the manager would go over and look at the guy would come in and he'd go, "I'll give you $179 for that TV." It's like the price is $199. That's the price. Oh, but they look at the margin and then they go, and there was a little code you could look up, and it was the numbers that were reversed or something, and that meant if it said 12, if it said 21, then the margin was 12%. So take off what's 10%? Okay, and they would go, okay, I'll do it for $189. Okay, deal. Everything's wheeling and dealing. I mean, I guess that's the way it is, but boy, let's just get straight to it and get them straight honest. Here's what it is, because if I do it for less than that, then I'm going to be cutting things versus what they're doing. They're adding more fluff on. You're going to say, no, we do it for less than that. I've got other people over here that want to pay the regular price, so we can do it the right way. Quality ultimately is what at stake.
Yeah. Now, the one thing that we do is we do a discount for veterans, military veterans, firefighters, and policemen. That's not a question that's asked up front. When I get done figuring the price up, here it is. Okay, here's a $20,000 price. Are you a veteran? Are you a firefighter? Are you a policeman? Yes, we take money off.
And that's because you want to give that value to somebody who's literally, and you're saying we're willing to take a little bit of a discount in our profit.
Yes.
Because these are people that talk about, those are the people that saved my life. If you know my story, on the side of the highway, there were the EMTs, there were the police, and there were the fire, all making sure that I made it to the hospital safely. That literally kept me alive.
That's a small way we can say thank you.
And say thank you back to them and say,
yep,
you've earned it. Those people literally take pay cuts. They could go off and start companies and do other big successful things, but it's more important to them to save lives than it is to make a lot of money.
Yes.
So I appreciate that too. That's great. There you go, everybody. You know you're dealing with some good people, and that's one of their core beliefs and the way they help the community by giving back like that. Let's dig in here a little bit more. You did say I should say properly, residential or commercial. You do both.
Yes.
But what you had to break it down as a percentage, what would you say one versus the other?
Probably 60% residential right now, 40% commercials.
Really? Okay.
Probably if I had to break it down, be right in that area.
Okay. Because there are still, every big building, whether it's commercial or Commercial buildings many times are very much larger,
Yes.
and they can handle. They're going to require more attention.
Yes.
But they have foundations also.
Well, not just foundations. They have what's called an air barrier on stuff above.
Okay.
So
Explain that for me a little bit.
basically, what it says, air barrier. It doesn't stop moisture or water. It stops airflow.
Okay. How does that affect differently than a house? Since I'm still I don't understand.
I would say for a building, it does help with moisture, so it's going to help with the moisture content in the building. It's going to help with the insulation of the building, and things like that. So,
Well, those are moisture causes problems. If you're going to have anything that does end up causing a problem in a house, moisture is one of the biggest enemies of anything that you have with regard to foundation, wood, you name it. Moisture, vital for humans to survive. Liquid water, H2O, right?
yeah.
Not good for construction unless you're pouring the cement and you need it to mix, right?
Yeah.
But after that, let's get this thing water free.
You said a key word there, moisture.
Okay.
What is moisture? Like right now, relative humidity. Like it's hot and humid here in this room.
Right.
That's why I'm sweating. You're not too bad. But
yeah, well, we get it down to about 68 in here, and then the heaters kick the heating units, which are these TVs.
But water and moisture, two different things. Moisture is the moisture in the air, relative humidity. If you have a relative humidity of roughly 60% or above, you have the potential for mold growth. Okay?
Mold growth is not good.
No. No. So you be careful with, there's, like I said, definition of moisture versus water. Water you see running on the ground, whatever. Moisture you don't see in the air.
Right.
What I've seen a lot of Lake Ozark, for example, or secondary homes. They leave, turn the air conditioner up or turn it off. And then they come back in 2 weeks and they walk in the basement and there's water droplets on the floor, and they call and they say, "Oh, my basement's leaked." No, you've got condensation because you shut your air off. It's cool in the basement and there's moisture in the air and it's hot and humid. You get condensation. Same thing with crawl spaces.
Oh, wow. See, those are bad things to have in there because
No.
then you're talking about the buildup, and then mold will attack anywhere there's moisture. Is that true? And mold then becomes another whole remediation problem.
Yeah.
You probably have some people you trust that come in and fix that problem for you.
Yep.
For your clients, you run into that all the time. Wow. Okay. And it's true for residential or commercial. It'll affect the same. Well, tell me a time when there's obviously many times that you've helped lots of people. But as we finish up here, we're going to take a break in about a minute. But give me a story about somebody that you can think of as a past client, somebody you were like, wow, this lady, this gentleman, this business owner, so a lot of times we see stories where the elderly get taken advantage of.
Well, it's funny you say that because we did a repair on a house, and when the lady went and did the repair, she had an old rose bush planted in front of her house. We dug it up and re-waterproofed it. But she said her husband had passed away, had given her that 6-8 years ago. That was her memory of him. But it had never grown or flowered when she planted it. It sat there for 8 years. Never did anything. And she had water in her basement for that long. And then she called us and we went in and we tried to save the rose bush, put it in a bucket, and we replanted it. After we got done, I drove past her house a year later, and I saw that rose bush had gotten bigger and had flowers all over it. So I turned around, went back, and knocked on the door, and she came to the door, gave me a hug, and cried because that was the first time that rose bush had ever flowered, was after she repaired her basement and had a dry basement.
There you go. It's the little things in life to help us with those memories we have of those loved ones and people that were important to us. And you took the time to do that. And ladies and gentlemen, take the time to take the time. There's so often in our life we want to hustle through and rush through, but it's when you take a breather, you take a minute to step back and say, hey, let's have a little chit chat. That's why I love the format that we've decided to use here, because people say, Carter's got a podcast. I'm like, technically it's a podcast format, but it's a long format interview that happens to air on ABC, everybody. And so, but we want to absorb and learn more in depth than the quick splash, click, 30-second blurb. I want to understand what's going on. And if I can have a sit down with somebody that's an expert, now I feel more comfortable. I'm sure there's other companies that offer a similar thing to you, but do they take the time to explain it to me? And what else is going on there that I don't understand and I can't see what they're doing, but you're willing to take the time to share it. And I appreciate you coming up here. Driving up from Eldon, Missouri, everybody, to have this discussion with us. We'll be back in just a second here. We're going to show you some more fun stuff we're doing in the community. Take a look here at what we got going on, everybody. More fun Cardinal fans, everybody. Ben and Max. Ben, how long have you been a Cardinal fan?
I mean, I lived here my whole life. You know, Cardinals are just the way in my blood. You know, I can't deny it. You know, that's how it goes.
What is your best pickup line when you meet a girl regarding the Cardinals? Hey, baby, want to go to a Cardinal game?
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, I'm not smooth with the ladies, you know, but yeah, hey, baby, Cardinals are in
We're
town.
helping. Ben and Max. You're Ben, right? No, you're Max.
That's Max.
Max, how often do you come back after a Cardinal game? Man, there was a lot of fun there to be had. What was the most fun you had at the Cardinal game? And it can involve anything up into including things we can't talk about.
Well, when I was a kid, came here, I was sitting out in center field, you know, hanging out in the yard, and caught a home run ball. I mean, you can't really beat that, you know.
Barehanded?
No, I had a glove.
He had a glove.
Yeah.
Way to go. So
I was ready.
He's resourceful and athletic, everybody. Ben and Max, thanks you guys. Let's go. Can I get a let's go Cardinals?
Let's go Cardinals.
Let's go Cardinals, baby.
We're going to do it together now. Ready?
All right.
1, 2, 3. Let's
go
go
Cardinals.
Giddy up.
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. Hey everybody, Cardinal Cowboy here. I want to invite all of you to be part of my new team. No, you don't have to put on a baseball uniform and be a super fan. Now, it would be a good idea to cheer for the Cardinals, the greatest team in the history of the National League. But I'm talking about the Gold Cowboy team. You know, I love to help people follow their dreams and reach their goals in business and in life. So that's one of the reasons why I'm telling you about my friends at My Metal Pro. They help people like you and I acquire gold and silver with a membership that lets you safely buy, sell, and store gold and silver. They make it real easy to get started. My Metal Pro isn't like the big guys you see on network TV or the big coin shops that take a huge commission. So become part of my Gold Cowboy team. Scan the QR code or go to goldcowboy.com and check it out. Giddy up! Well, there we go, everybody. And again, if you'd like to learn a little bit more about gold, check it out. Go out there to cardinalcowboy.com. All right, let's finish up. We got about 10 minutes with our expert in the building here. Scott, appreciate you again driving up here. Only a 2-hour drive, but it's a little bit of a drive. But you drive a lot, I guess, for the service you do anyway.
Yeah.
Coming up to St. Louis, all over the southern part of Missouri, Lake of the Ozarks is kind of a
Yeah.
specialty. A lot of people who have houses at the lake that they live in St. Louis
Yeah.
or Kansas City.
I average probably 4 to 6 hours a day on the road altogether.
Really, every day.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that means you're a road warrior, and
Coming and going.
make sure you got it done. I saw the car you drove up in, got it looking nice too. It's an economical car too.
Yeah.
Don't want to have that big super duper SUV. You're not the one out there actually implementing it. The crew will come and do that
Yeah.
stuff with their stuff, but get yourself efficient. There you go. That's called running a business, everybody. All right. Tell me a little bit though. Along those lines, technology is always changing, and I talk about it with how it is in these days in marketing. We can talk more about that later if you want me to share some of my tips, trades, secrets. But magnetize your media. I wrote the foreword for this #1 seller on Amazon. Check it out, and if you want to learn about how to magnetize your media, this book really outlines it. I did the foreword, the introduction they called it, because I ended up writing about 18 pages. But that's how you can help. But how does technology affect and impact your business? And we in our pregame, our mid-game prep there, you talked about in your space. The technology really hasn't changed tremendously. It's a matter of getting those fundamentals, getting it done right.
Yes.
And there's no cutting corners when you
Yes.
get to where you're repairing a foundation.
Has foundations changed that much from how they've been built in the last 30 years? Not really. There's not a lot of technology that can be done to be used to fix a foundation. It's all pretty basic. I mean, yes, there's some laser levels and things like that, but ultimately, it's hands-on.
Yeah, the epoxies and all the different types of fixes that they have, they've been very similar for a long time. It's just a matter of having that expertise,
Yes.
the skills and understanding.
Yes.
This is what works. Your Google search about the quick fix patch is only going to cause more problems.
Flex seal.
Flex Steel. Flex Steel's a great product. Probably not the best thing for a foundation, I can imagine.
Yes, that's correct.
And I'd say I use a little Flex Steel, but I'm not trying to fix my basement with it. It
Yeah.
might be a patch for about a 3-hour thing, maybe, but
Yeah.
on a foundation. But I wouldn't want to count on that. Well, cool. I understand that the technology these days does impact business dramatically, but in your case, stick with what's tried and true and been proven, and how that does it. Well, tell me the process then. I can only imagine by now they're going. Scott's an expert. PEP, PEP. There it is. I'll put it up there for everybody. Waterproofing. You guys know what you're doing. Been doing this for 25 years. The company has been. You've been running or helping run it for 19. You've actually been running it for the last 12. Somebody says, all right, I need to hire these guys. How simple is it for somebody to hire you?
Call the office, call myself. We'll set an appointment up that works to your schedule and our schedule. Come out, give you an evaluation based upon what you want to accomplish. And then based upon that evaluation, we will give you options for repair, what the warranty is with each repair, and what the cost is. And then you can choose. I mean, do you want to spend X, Y, Z, or do you want to spend X, Y, or do you want to spend X? But you'll know what the warranty is with each one, so you can make an informed decision.
Well said there. An informed decision. How often is it that we make decisions based on, I can tell you I've made the mistake myself, that Google search. How many of us become Google or YouTube experts, and because somebody made a video? Last guest that happened to be on here, his name's Scott, that's all I'll say there, but he made the point to us, many times people do their Google or YouTube research, and now they're experts, and all they've really done is cause themselves a bigger problem, trying to either do it themselves or hiring somebody to cut corners. And when you're talking about a foundation, not a good strategy.
No. Another big thing is I talk to my friend. He knows. I've talked to my buddy. He knows. I talk to my uncle. And I'm not putting anybody's dad or grandpa down, but grandpa says, well, what did grandpa do? What did dad do? What your uncle or your friend do? Did they do it for a living, or do they just know?
Yeah, are they truly experts, and are they the ones that are just trying to get through and they really don't understand? I'm going to look right into the camera, everybody. Don't hire the brother-in-law. We make the joke. Don't hire the brother-in-law, and because many times the brother-in-law, he's looking for some work and hasn't done it for very long, And I tell you, sometimes we get our hanky. You can go ahead and wipe it off. It gets a little bit warm in our studio sometimes because we do our thing. But man, it's about 100 degrees outside today. 3 air conditioners we got in our studio here. Not 5, not 4, but we got 3. And I wore the Chiefs rings today, everybody, as we got some of our audience for this particular show might be coming from the other side of the state where we have our super champion 3-time. Are they 4-time champions now? The Chiefs have really turned it on. Be very proud from our friends over there in Kansas City. And we love our Royals too. In 1985, that was a gift, everybody, from the Cardinals to the Royals. If you look that one up, it's another great example of life throws you hurdles. Life is not always easy. It's how you respond to that error. If you notice that bad call that happened, I want to get into that. After that, the Cardinals dropped the pop-up behind home plate. They didn't respond to the error that somebody else made. And that's the way life is, overcome. All right, if you would talk about one thing that really you talk about what sets you guys apart, but tell me what it is as an objection. A lot of people have questions. What is the number one objection that people have when they're considering your service? And then you go there and you give them a quote, and what the number one question that they have when they're talking to you?
The number one objection anymore, generally, is money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is for everybody. Whether you're buying a new truck, new car, you've got to put the value in what you're receiving. You know, with giving them 3 options, if number 3 is the highest rated one, going to give them the best fix, but it costs the most money, they can't afford it, give them option number 2, or give them option number 1, whichever one works best for them. Don't force them into anything.
Yeah, well, that's where life is full of options, and it's just a matter of, are you filling the need?
Yeah.
A lot of times that need may be critical. It is something that needs to be, and you can say there are no shortcuts, I can imagine, when you talk about a foundation in particular. But other times say, all right, well, we can fix this core source of the problem right now and then address the rest of it at another time, and then the cost can be spread out, I guess, or multiple. Instead of taking it all in one kind of a job, you can do that and help people find a solution that way as well. Well, that's what we are all looking for, those people who will find a solution to make it work and come up with a way to get that done. As we finish up here, what is it ultimately that you feel like you do, your company does to best serve the community? I can only imagine there's so many people that, like, by the time they're in this situation, they're in a pretty bad, tough spot, and you're going to help them to keep from losing their house or allowing them to maintain the place where their family resides.
What do we do best to help our customers? Give them a peace of mind. Trying to keep it simple. Give them a peace of mind. Just about everybody we've worked with, when we get done, is happy. Now, we're a company. Not everybody is. I don't care who you are. You're not going to be able to please everybody.
Can't make everybody.
No,
you can make some of the people happy some of the time, all the people happy some of the time, but you're never going to make all the people happy all the time.
But we try to. You know,
and that's all you can do.
Yeah.
And then if there is ever something that didn't go right, fix it, right?
Yeah.
That's the key to it.
Yep.
Well said, everybody. Thanks for staying tuned. Another learning episode here from our expert, Scott Suthoff. Suthoff.
Yep.
Stay tuned for more, everybody. Giddy up.